Fans of the game, I have two things in store for you today. Firstly, we have a behind-the-scenes podcast-length insight into how Owen thinks about dealing with Linus in his heads-up no-limit match. And secondly, for any mid-stakes cash game grinders watching, we are going to host a Cash Game World Championship at 500 NL, rake-free, with a 60,000 prize pool distributed over 4 weeks. If you're interested, join the link in the description below. Before we get into Owen walking us through his heads-up match, I asked Linus a couple of questions about their showdown, and he was kind enough to answer them for the fans. Often in heads-up matches, players up the stakes by gambling on the side, usually in the form of a crossbook. So I asked Linus if he has any side action for this heads-up match, and he said, nope, I'm playing 20k. And then I asked him if he thought that Owen discussing strategy as openly as he has been costing him EV. Linus prefaced his reply by stating he's sure Owen is already aware of this, but yes, it can cost him EV, and letting your opponent see how you think about the game is certainly a risk. So Linus, since you're already watching, go ahead and leave a like, mate. Now let's get into some poker. Okay, so first hand that we're going to discuss, biggest pot that you lost, I think. Okay?
Oh, let's go.
Walk us through this one.
Alright, so far I'm on board. Oh, dicey.
Anything to
yeah.
discuss for the flop here? Are we just scared, shivering in our boots as they're out of position, or are we allowed to do a little donking in this
Queen high boards at this SPR are pretty good for you out of position, because like we're too deep to shove in ace queen off. So we'll have a bunch of ace queen. So yeah, you can do some leading here. In position we'll have they'll have some ace queen, but
do you actually do that shit though, or do you just say, nah, I'm not gonna fuck with that, I'm just gonna play my balanced range and just check instead of finding like whatever low frequency donks?
I mean, the check, sometimes the check just isn't balanced, because it's like there are a lot of boards where, because 4-bet pots can get so range specific that there's some boards where if you don't lead, it's just a really big mistake. I think this is one where you could kind of get away with it if you wanted to.
Do you balance timing on a check in a spot like this then?
Well, you do need to think about these things. I'll be honest. Before I was playing Linus, I wasn't using these leads too much, because because the thing is, when you're playing against weaker players, they won't notice how good the board is for you, and so if I don't lead, I'll check to them, and then they'll often like range bet into me anyway, And it's like, why would you lead if the guy's going to range bet? Because people are just like lazy in 4-bet pots for some reason. And then like when I was playing Linus, I was like, oh wait, if I don't lead these boards, he knows how good they are for me. So I actually need to make sure that I'm leading these boards at least sometimes. And I've been studying up a bit on it.
Hey, that's cool, man. Nice. But this time it's gonna go with a check, and I can't recall, so he's gonna check back. All right. Yeah, ace on the turn, so not really what you're hoping for. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of sucks. We're doing like a lot of checking on this card. I mean, we still do have like a lot of nuttish hands here though.
Well, stuff that beats ace king is certainly worth considering trying to put him all in at some point for
it's similar to what I was saying on the flop, in the sense that like, if you could just get lazy and range check the ace every time, just figuring it's his card if you really wanted to. But if you do that, then like, he's sharp enough to just start checking back his ace king to realize, like, it's not like he hits top pair, top kicker, and he's just going to get blinded by it. I've got to, like, if my checking range is too strong, then whatever, he can just check it back.
So you hit him with the check, and he fires in 75. You snap jam in the replay. I take it you took a little bit longer.
Yeah, I did
in person, but what's the thought here with this double gut shot versus like having the combo draw kind of hand?
Well, I mean, combo draws are nice, but like, it's kind of hard to even really call them a bluff. If you call like if you call ace king and you see like 10 out of clubs, it's not, you're not exactly jumping for joy. Um, and so if you only use these really, really high quality bluffs, you actually can't value bet that much. Otherwise, you're sort of very value heavy. Not just because the amount of them, but because every single bluff sucks out so often that it's only sort of a bluff.
What about this hand compared to Jack 10 and 10-8?
Yeah, so I messed this up a little in game because I have looked at this one. Um, so apparently you're supposed to take the Jack 10, not the Queen 10, because so I was
Because he
thinking,
c-bets ace queen and shit.
yeah, I was thinking you want to block the top set. And then also I thought like maybe the hearts might be slightly good because like the other ace queens might see that a little bit more, but I was like I don't know. That felt kind of minor. But yeah, I thought I wanted to block the top set, but you do want the Jack 10 so that you can have the blockers to ace Jack off. Um, which was pretty fucking
Possibly
relevant.
relevant in this one, yeah.
Seen as he had
I
ace
mean, so
Jack
you're
off.
pretty close to the mark here. I mean, this looks like a very
Yeah, yeah.
aggressive bluff. I mean, you deep and shit. It's ballsy, and you weren't far off the mark. Out of interest, so Linus obviously has ace jack, like you mentioned, but did he tank in game, or was
Yeah, he
he
tanked for ages.
he
He
tanked
almost
for
timed out.
ages? Oh,
He
interesting.
almost timed out.
Well,
Which
that always feels kind of okay. I mean, like
I know,
obviously,
but this was how the match started. Was I got stacked so many times in this like exact sort of dynamic where I'd run a bluff like this. He would be like, because we don't have any history, so he's thinking to himself, "Oh wait, does he have bluffs here?" He tanks for ages. Eventually, calls me with this sort of hand, which is like it's a 20 BB catcher, um, and I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, I guess at least the bluff was nice, but it just happens so many times, and now he's seen all the spots,
yeah,
and now he
yeah,
just snaps it in.
right.
There's a spot.
Well, the other level to it is I don't know if you use this play yourself, but the fake tank, so that he relays information to you like it was close for him whether he calls or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think so. I think he was thinking because he tanked down to almost 5 seconds, man.
Yeah.
This was
I
like,
mean, burning a resource is usually some kind of a statement, especially if it's like the first 30 minutes into your match of the
yeah.
day.
I mean,
It's hard to balance that. But
I
some
just
people
don't.
are on that level where they will do those kind of plays. They'll tank to give you false information.
I mean, yeah. At the same time, it's kind of weird information for me to have because whilst I know he was thinking about folding this, he now sees the bluff. And so then the next time he has a 20 BB catcher in the spot, he obviously just snaps it, right? So,
I don't know.
uh,
It depends how he approaches it, and like he's not the one to
well,
share info. If
I'm
he
not saying he's
profiles
necessarily
people,
going to call everything, but I think once you know someone is finding these kind of bluffs, you're not likely to adjust the 20 BB ones. You're likely to start thinking more about the like indifferent ones or the 2 to 5 BB catchers, you know? So I know that it's yeah, the information the second I get it is kind of outdated, which is what's a lot of fun about heads up matches. Honestly, you're just trying to work out what level someone's thinking about what they've seen and to get in their head and how they're actually processing information. But
yeah, very cool, man.
yeah, I think trying to I think fake tanking here is a bit. Yeah, I don't know. At least I hope it wasn't. I like to tell myself
I
it
could
wasn't.
respect a fake tank early in the match. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, what just like fake tank this and then just keep calling just keep calling but give me the long tank every time so I keep dusting. Yeah, not
Okay.
a bad plan. I've heard worse.
The next hand on our little list is this one. So we briefly looked at it before, but yeah, you were
Yeah.
mentioning some interesting dynamics about four betting pocket sixes and how that interacts with ace five shoving over the top. And I was curious, so I'll ask this question again. When you have sevens, eights, or nines and you three bet, are you shoving these, even tens? Are you shoving these all day, a little bit? Is it splitting? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on with
that,
those hands?
you do put them all in, but So at 100 BBs, those pocket pairs are, they're definitely fine to shove. They're shoving quite a decent amount. But he tends to use four bets a little bit on the smaller size. Like you see, I'm going to 11 and then he goes to 25 BB. Um, and it doesn't seem like much, but the difference between someone going to from 25 to 26 or 27 BB, it does change up the risk reward on those pocket pairs quite a bit for shoving. So if someone goes to 25 BB, one, I'm like winning less when I shove, and also it's cheaper for me to just flat. So when you're using a small four bet size, it does make a bit more sense to have these low pockets in there because you're going to get it in crushed against a hand like eights less often than you would if you used like a 27 BB four bet, in which case those pocket pairs get a little bit more shove happy in my shoes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this time we go to a flop and we see the always tilting check min raise.
Yeah.
Do you play more than one check raise size here? What's cooking there?
Nah, you can't. I mean, against quarter pot here, it doesn't really make sense to go bigger than a min raise. There's just no SPR left, right? Like we're already below a one SPR once he calls the min raise, like way below one SPR actually. Um, so yeah, you're not in any rush to get money in, and it's not. There are boards where you'll use bigger check raise sizes. There are plenty of boards in four bet pots where you'll check shove all in, but those are going to be boards where you have a bunch of equity to deny from like overcards or gut shots or whatever. This is not that kind of board. I mean, obviously you can have some gutters, but it's very static. Happy to play over free streets as both players. There's no rush.
Yeah. And out of interest, do you think his line is quite forced? Like he has to call, and when check to on the turn, he has to have a little stab here. What do you think about his line?
Well, the thing is in four bet pots. So as the imposition player, you have a very polar range, right? Um, so obviously he has all the top range stuff which connects to the board really nicely. And then some of his bluffs will connect, like he can have king free or whatever. But lots of his bluffs are just random queen highs. He'll be 7-4 suited or something. And when I'm only min raising, I think that the board connections sort of just have to come along. This one's pretty close though. Because a lot of the bluffs will be like queen 10 off, jack 10 off, and those are obviously like very strong hands here. So on the flop, it's kind of close, but I think you do just about have to continue sixes. Yeah, and then on the turn, once I check to him, I don't really think there's much of a decision.
He just
Like,
has to find something to bluff with here, and this is
yeah, I mean,
about
this
it, right?
is like it's so hard for him to have a worse hand than this. It's so hard. You could bluff a lot stronger than this, honestly. You could bluff like pocket tens, pocket queens. Um, yeah, I mean, he has like a little bit of 10-9 off that he can bluff.
Is
And
there
then
any level of concern? So you're holding ace jack of clubs, just so that everybody knows.
yeah,
But is there any level of concern from you here where he might value bet a hand that doesn't put the rest of the money in on the river? Like, for example, if he has a king or an ace, is there a chance that he makes like a
probably
pot
not
stun style bet
king.
here, planning on checking it back on the river just to not lose everything if he's beat, etc.
Yeah, I mean he could do that with an ace. It would kind of make sense. Um, if he has something like ace queen or ace 10, he could get value against my king queen, say. Um, so I think yeah, it would be reasonable.
But you don't give any thought to raising the turn yourself. You're just hoping that he has one of the hands that he'll bluff with and goes for it.
No, I think it'd be reasonable to raise the turn in my shoes.
Okay.
Um,
Obviously,
it,
works
it
out perfectly that
depends.
you don't in this time.
Yeah, I mean there's various things that you could do, and then yeah, I don't think there's much of a decision on the river. Well, there's a bit of a decision on the river actually.
Just because
I
the
think no,
card
I
is so
lie.
extremely bad for you, like
Yeah,
considering
no,
what your
no.
check calling range is.
Yeah,
Do you think you're forced to fold like an ace here at all?
yeah. I mean, otherwise, what am I folding? No, actually, yeah, I'm lying there. There is definitely a decision for him on river, because I think my main check check raise check call
Is it king? Yeah.
is yeah. I mean, I'll have a lot of other stuff in there as well. But King Queen is, I mean, I'm not going to check raise King Queen every single time, but it's pretty, it's pretty up there. So, I mean, obviously he has tons of strong hands too, as well. Though. It's not like I'm just going to snap him in with Ace 10 here. Like Ace 10 is scared for its life at this point. Um, yeah, just look like he has so many good hands. Um, yeah, there are definitely things to go after. But I think calling it no decision might be overselling it, but at the same time, I mean,
It looks kind of obvious to bluff with.
yeah,
You've
it's a
got
bit.
dog shit. And
Well,
is
yeah,
it that easy for him to have like queen four, like suited, you know?
yeah. I mean, I think can he have those hands? But like this one has to be a way better bluff though, because I think this is just well, maybe not way better. I was trying to think if this one might be unblocking folding range more, but maybe yeah, Queen four is blocking a few calls. Like tens is probably just blocking the folding range pretty hard for him. So tens would be a better give up than this. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm honestly I'm not entirely sure about this, but I think his plays his play is pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, not saying, mate. You won a pot, which is
Cheers. Yeah.
not really the theme of the match so far.
Well, I mean, we've had a bit of a comeback since you guys put all these hands together.
Oh,
I was
no.
down like 16 buy-ins, and now I'm down 8.
I tried to pick some winners for you though today, just so it wasn't so
Nice,
slanted.
nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the ones I won weren't very exciting though. I mean, this one's probably one of the better ones. But
What
I
do you
think a
want?
lot
Do you want to choose a hand? Because I'm rolling for them, but I'm kind of disappointed. Like I was disappointed that I hit this hand when I was RNGing him. I wanted to see.
I mean, you could bring one up, and then I'll like
Oh yeah,
I'll just
sure. I
say
mean,
yes
I'll
or
bring
no.
one up that we have to bring up.
Okay. All right. Well,
The
I've got an
computer
8K stack.
hand.
At least I've got plenty of. Oh, this
The
yeah.
computer hand in a single
Oh,
raise
this
pot.
one's so funny. This one's so
Top
good.
pair. I'll skip over my obsession with discussing flop donking. We check
Oh,
call
there's
a
no
70%
donking here.
bet.
This is no way donking here.
And now on the turn,
0%.
we come out with a lead. We get
Please.
small raised. How are you feeling about this small raise? Is this giving you some kind of information?
Oh God.
I guess let's skip over that and just display
How
what
am I
you've
feeling?
decided to do
Yeah,
here.
let's
And
just
I have
show. Well,
one question that
welcome to
must
the
be
fucking
asked.
show. Welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, one
I
question
say
I have to ask though: is this a misclick?
no, it wasn't a
It is not a
mistake.
misclick. Okay, so please fill us in as to what this is.
Okay. I don't even know what I thought. Okay, oh God.
Would you frame this hand of poker and hang it on your wall?
Oh man. Probably not.
This is a great hand of poker.
It's so funny. Oh God.
But are you reading him for just being like one pair, like weird protection-y kind of raise?
Oh man, okay, I'm trying to come up with words that I can say about this fucking hand. I'm not gonna lie, you can see by the stacks that we were late in the session and I was on winner's tilt. I'd finally had a big session. I think I won 6 binds or something this day. We were getting creative out there in the streets. This hand was a bit off the wall. Okay, no, basically I had some ideas which were slightly misapplied. And then we got this masterpiece of a fucking hand instead. I can't really talk about it because it's all very expo stuff. Yeah.
Well, we can enjoy the show.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're
Just
gonna
enjoy
click
the
it
fucking
over, and he's
clown
gonna
show, man.
call.
Welcome
The
to the
river is a
circus.
nice safe card, and we're going to. Can you please put the next word into this sentence? Are we
Uh,
value betting or bluffing here? What exactly are we doing here for quarter pot? I have to assume it's a value bet, but a turn 3 bet on a 4 straight board with dry top pair. Maybe you're trying to block him having sevens up, which he would call with, and you think he would fold some 5-3, 5-4 weird hand. I have no idea what you're doing here. Yeah,
oh, no.
feel free to comment.
No, it's just a really bad hand, man. It's just a really bad hand. I'm not gonna lie. I just thought I just thought he would fold. I'm gonna be honest. I think we'd been there was a similar spot I was thinking of where I had a feeling he'd range folded to me. And then we got into this spot and I was like, oh, I have a terrible fucking hand for it, but I really think he'll respect the line. And then I went for it and he really did not respect the line at all.
Okay. Well, that answers that. I'm glad to know what this play was.
No, this wasn't magic. This was straight terrible. And I got rewarded. It's so good. Mm. Oh man.
Was there any comment in the chat after this hand?
Yeah. I said something to him like, "I'm sorry, I don't deserve that pot. I'm just clicking buttons and I'm just clicking buttons. You deserve it." I'll say. Oh, it was good.
That was a nice one. All right.
God, that might. It's so funny. The worst played hand of the match, I think, from my perspective, is I like it. I should just come on here and ego about it and talk about how sick I outplayed him, but no, no. I'll be honest. I think
I knew he would
worst played
raise
hand
me
of
on the
match.
turn with like single pairs with an ace kicker because he has a bit of straight draw equity and blockers, plus he has a pair. So I came over the top to establish my control of the
Yeah.
pot with
I
the
should have
top
just said
pair on the board.
yeah. I soul read him for 8-7, and it's like, oh yeah, no, no.
This is a great hand, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Linus's line in this hand, because this is an interesting line. It doesn't go to showdown here. You may or may not remember this hand, but
Yeah.
I
Oh,
found this
yeah.
hand quite cool.
Yeah, I may or may not remember this hand. Jesus Christ. This one's burned my retinas, man.
So a big check raise coming out on the turn here, and then the river pairing the 9 and an overbet.
Yeah.
And Linus is going to decide to rip this in.
Yeah, pain.
What do you think about his combo choice here? And what other hands would you go to for bluffs in his shoes, if not this hand?
Yeah, no, this one seems pretty good. Um, seems pretty good. Uh, like the problem when you're in his shoes is you're gonna have a lot of fairly similar hands, you know? Um, there's gonna be a lot of like pair plus straight blocker hands. Uh, and then because essentially I'm repping a straight or a set when I check raise. And then yeah, you can get into the nitty-gritty of like exactly which straights and sets are gonna be the most check raised or but like realistically all of those hands are gonna be very, very similar in terms of blocker properties. Um so
Well, just
yeah.
curious, does your river sizing change or what part of that range you were repping on the turn on the river? Like, without saying all of your different river sizes you might use, can you read into this small overbet, or can Linus assume you could have any of the straights and full houses for this sizing?
So yeah, I mean I think the check raise is gonna like it's gonna have enough sets in it that we probably get to jam some of the boats, but not all of them. Um, it would be my guess. I don't remember if I looked this one up. It would have been ages ago if I did. But like that's kind of often what you get into in these spots where you have like the river's changed a little bit. Um, but I mean also when you're in my shoes, it's like he doesn't really have a boat that often. The main thing he has is like 7-6 you know? I mean, he can have some 9-4 and pocket fours. That's like, I don't know, it's like, what, 4 combos? So he really has 4 combos of boats, and then however many 7-6. Like 7-6 is a bit hard to nail down.
So you think he would pure jam 7-6 here?
Well, yeah, it's like it's hard to say because like the thing which happens when you're so if I'm out of position and I'm just like and I never jam a boat, you might kind of valuing yourself by shoving 7-6.
Yeah.
But then if he isn't shoving 7-6, then I should obviously just jam my boats, you know? So it kind of works from both ways.
Mhm.
So which is why I have the intuition that I shove boats often enough that he can shove his 7-6, and then I mean, like, I had ace deuce here. I had the max pain hand. Well, I don't. I mean, 6 deuce is probably more painful because you like have a blocker to the 7-6. Whereas I think this one just hurt because it was a straight. But I think it is just gonna be a fold. Um, One of the annoying things about having like ace deuce though is like actually no, I was thinking about 6 max pattern recognition. I think in 6 max this hand gets check raised a lot on the turn because you block checkbacks with the ace high. But in heads up they can actually value bet their ace highs on the turn. So you're actually kind of blocking the betting range a little bit as well. So I think it's fine to go either way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like just a pure pain spot. I don't think I block any of the value range. Um, but at the same time, I don't really I don't block the bluffs, and it's also I'm gonna have this kind of combo quite often. So it's like yeah, I mean I'm not sure. I ended up rolling it in game. I think it has to do some defending.
Yeah.
Um,
It's reasonable.
but uh, but yeah, I don't think you don't get to pure fold it. But it's just such a painful combo to have. Like I think if I 7-6, I just like yeah. Even if you're not sure whether they jam 7-6, if I have 7-6, my life is easier because if there's any doubt as to whether his value range includes 7-6, you just call it, right? And then you just like fold from the other ones. So that would have just made my life so much easier. But yeah, I mean obviously that's why yeah his hand's like quite nice in terms of the like straight blocking side of it. I think a 6 is going to be a better blocker than like a 7 or a deuce because he's blocking like some combos of pure calls, and then the 6 deuce is going to be a bit preferred to the ace deuce. Whereas like if you have a deuce, you're kind of just blocking like mixed call fold hands.
What do you think about, from his perspective, the 5-4 bluff? Or do you think having a 6 is more important? So, like, how about this as a question? Would you rather bluff pocket 6s or 5-4 as Linus, assuming it's 5-4 of hearts, so it's blocking max his.
Yeah, I mean the two pairs. I mean the two pairs get check raised a little bit. I mean, like the hearts is nice, but it's like the two pairs do they get like the check raise is mostly gonna be like the sets and straights. So yeah, like hearts is a bit helpful because I will have some 9-5 in there, but yeah, those hands will be in there less. Um, I mean, well, like how many calls are you blocking? I mean, you're blocking like 4 boats that way. It's also nice to be like unblocking the bluffs because I can just have like I don't know 8-6 or whatever as a check raise and then fold. So he's blocking some folds. I think in these spots I just sort of I trend towards trying to work out more what are all the reasonable bluffing hands and then trying to think how often should I be using them rather than trying to rank them meticulously from best to worst, I think
Yeah,
it's
I
like
only question it because when you come down to a spot like this where you're repping somewhat narrow, you don't want to overdo it with the bluffs. And so I'm curious where a
that's
top player like one of you guys starts to pick them from. Like, do you like the 6s more than the full house blockers? Because some people would
well
just bluff counterfeit 2-pair here, and other
yeah, but
people see
I
this
would just like
straight
take
blocking.
that as like I would try and estimate okay, I have this many reasonable bluffing hands. And like if you have tons of reasonable bluffing hands and not many value, and then it's like, okay, well obviously I can't roll a very high number between them. And I think that side of things is generally going to be more important. I think if it's not, if you can't work out the preference between them quickly, then I just wouldn't want to practically, like from a practical perspective, it's not the way I would want to use my energy in the spot, you know, or like yeah, and the time.
Yep.
I would just, I just rather, first work out like what I should be doing, and then you're free to start thinking about like whether you know anything about the other guy or any dynamics which would make you want to change that, rather than thinking like, I mean, if you can get them all perfectly in order, and then you get to the end of it and you're just like, wait, shit, I have the 10th best bluffing combo. How many how many do I actually get to pick? Do I get 10? Do I get 8? Do I get 6? And then even if you can, even if you can do the theory well, it's not like, it's not quite it's actually going to be less accurate in the way which matters, you know.
Yep. Unfortunately, we have a few hands that bluffs that go wrong from your perspective. So, but
God,
this
man.
one, I feel like I would like to visit it for the fans.
All right, let's see. Oh no, I already know the hand by my whole cards. Jesus Christ.
Friendly check.
Such tilt. This one's such tilt.
125 turn, call. Is there really anything to say here? Your hand's just a great bluff, or is it close at all in your opinion?
I thought so. Like, I thought this was a pretty fucking legit bluff, but
What does it tell you though when this man calls you down?
God, this is such an absurd fuck you call to me. Oh my God.
Do you think he might assume that you're not value betting a single queen in this way, like as in for your double overbet?
Yeah, I mean this isn't really the size for a single queen now.
Okay, so
This
he's
is like
eliminating
this
some
is a
of your
flush.
value hands, maybe based on that reason.
I mean, like the board is paired. Like you can't go piling infinite with a flush. Like this is, this is mostly going to be a flush. I mean, maybe I could go bigger with like a very good flush, but I don't really have that many. I don't have that many nut flushes. Like Ace of Hearts are gonna, they're gonna free bet a lot pre. Yeah, I mean, maybe he just thinks I would just do something else of value, or like I don't know. I mean, that there are like a lot of other sizes, and he just for some reason figured that this was the one which I was bluffing. I don't know, pain. This one I definitely got outplayed it. Oh man, this video ain't shaping up well for me.
Yeah, well, that's mainly my bad. I mean, just the hands I chose, like the ones I found interesting, did often. They were you bluffing and him finding some calls.
God, why can't we get the hands where I did good?
You
But
gotta
then
submit
anyway,
me a list next time, bro.
yeah. If there's a hand where I played well, I don't really want to talk about it. Well, yeah, I'll just talk about the ones where I fucked up. Yeah.
Good advertising, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting call. I mean, so I guess he thinks if you're a polar to a flush, quite a lot for the sizing, and maybe you bet more with the hizzy or whatever, this 8 of hearts becomes kind of important. Even though, like you mentioned when we were off stream, this could block a few of your bluffs too.
Feels like it blocks a lot of my bluffs. Like, I mean, yeah, I 9-8 and 8-7 are so many of the bluffs here. Like, it's just because if I have like a single heart without a combo draw, then sometimes those hands will go into check folds on the turn, right? Whereas if you have like the 9-7, the 9-8, or the 8-7, those hands have to they have to continue some way on the turn. As in, like I can bet them myself, I can check call them, I guess, or I can check raise them, and so because because you don't there's a limit to how much you can check raise those hands, and like check calling 9 or 8 high isn't that attractive. So I'm just often gonna have to bet those hands compared to like I don't know if I have 5-4 with a heart, like I mean, it kind of sucks to fold a flush draw, but at the same time, there's a lot of single heart hands. I might just end up check folding.
Yeah, and he probably checks back 2 pair, a
Yeah,
decent
so
amount
it's
on the
quite
board and stuff.
different on like the scale of fuck you calls. Eights with a heart is way more out there than fives with a heart. Like this is this is really, you are full of shit. I'm range calling you, and I don't know. I thought I played this like, I mean, I thought I played it fine. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah.
What are the plans if we take a brief interlude here for
Yep.
continuing play from your perspective? How do you feel about the match, and how much free time do you have to put into something like this at the moment?
Well, I'm having a blast despite the results so far. I mean, also it's been like turning around the last couple of sessions a little bit. I mean, I had 1 or 2 sessions where I made some back, and then the last few, like the last session, we like broke even. Like I won like 1K, and there's been a few sessions like that recently. But so kind of stabilized. But yeah, I'm having a great time. I sound like a recreational. But yeah, feeling good about the way I'm playing for the most part. Contrary to some of the hands which are coming up, I feel like a lot of what I'm doing is good. Also, like learning stuff. It's been pretty good experience just because sometimes there are things which you can know about them on like a sort of abstract intellectual sort of level, but then you don't really get tested on like the implementation because no one's really executing well enough, and then actually having to go out there and to and like fight for your life against someone, and then just making sure that because there was way less room for error, it's actually well, you know, you always learn things when you're being tested at the limit of your understanding, right? And I think that's what's going on in a lot of spots. Um, yeah, I mean, like there are spots where I definitely think I have the best of him, but obviously there are also ones where I could definitely feel he was getting the best of me, especially early on. And so yeah, I've just been enjoying that, and I'm playing some other games as well, but not really like full on like the grind. Just sort of enjoying life, hanging out, playing some private games, and then like playing playing Linus to get that get competitive juices flowing.
It's cool, man. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, no worries.
This hand, I don't know if you're gonna recognize it straight away.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm right there, man.
I'd like to know a little bit about how you feel about his bluff catch here.
Yeah, see, this is what we were talking about earlier, I think, before we started recording. I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 BB catcher, and he did tank, but he ended up flicking it in.
So this is because those hands happened at a pretty similar time frame, right? This is maybe one of the other hands you were even thinking of when you mentioned that before about
Yeah.
things going wrong.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the struggle of like, yeah, it's the informational disadvantage of starting out the match running a bit bad. Like he is at a point where he knows I'm gonna go for shit like this. Um,
How do you adjust out of interest? Do you make
you
this
just gotta keep
leveling war
playing
style
well.
assumption where you think, okay, he's going to call me all the time with these hands, maybe I will try to just rock up with value on the next one? Or do you just say, okay, I'm trying to play as GTO as I
Dude, I've been
can
trying so
to
hard
put
to
the
rock up
pressure?
with value, but it's fucking hard because you got to get dealt some value. But believe me, when I hit some, it's gonna be good. Like,
Maybe that's when the tank fold comes in from Linus.
yeah, yeah, dude, it'll kill me. It'll kill me. Um, but
So in
yeah,
terms of
I
his
don't know.
call, this is a standard call here. Because when I first saw this hand, I
Well,
questioned whether it was enough because you could go aggressively for value. It might not even need to be sets and stuff on this board, being some less straights than the other one, right? Okay, there's one less straight than the other one, but with offsuit
Yeah,
combos
well,
potential,
yeah,
there
like
is a few
there's
less.
32 combos, man. This is a lot of straights.
It is a lot of straights. So
Yeah.
you're not going to come here with Queen 5 then, in your opinion, and find a turn check raise? Queen 3, Queen 5?
I mean, Queen 5, Queen 3, no. Queen 5 is like, you could check raise the turn, and then I think getting all in on the river would be a push, so you could play some sort of vacuum size. I mean, it's close though, it's close.
Okay.
It kind of depends how much they play back at you on the turn. Because if someone like um if someone's free betting like the ace four and some sets on the turn, then like once you get to the river, Queen 5 is actually doing quite well. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I'm mostly like it's a set plus realistically for this. Um,
And
yeah,
yeah, so you're saying it's a 4-5 BB catcher with the 6. I was curious, like, how much better the 4 is than the 6, and is the 6 really enough when,
no,
you
no,
have all
the
this.
six is actually better
Oh, really?
because
So you're
I
bluffing
don't.
with a 4 a lot.
Yeah, the six is a pure blocker to value. Because like I can have like I don't know king four of clubs or whatever, check call the flop with backdoor and then check raise turn shove river. Um, Whereas having a six to bluff with is pretty rare. It's also pretty rare for me to have an ace to bluff with, which is where I came up with my brilliant fucking idea to punt off with ace six here. Um, because I was like, this one
Double
actually,
straight blockers.
yeah, I was like, this is a pretty. Well, I mean, I was like, this feels like a low frequency check raise, but it's going to be such a high EV river bluff that I should take the check raise sometimes to get to the high EV river node, which, for what it's worth, is correct. I did slightly overdo the frequency on the turn though, but on river my hand's like a 9-10 BB bluff, like it's not even like it's like super slam dunk, get it in. Um, but on the turn, it's only supposed to be like 5% or something, and I think I rolled like a little bit more than that, like 10 or 15.
20x more than that, potentially.
went with 100. Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, why does Owen never have value when he gets all in on the
Yeah.
river? And it's every time I have a blocker to anything, I just fucking blast it in.
You're fake rolling.
Yeah, it is quite a lot easier to get dealt a straight draw than a straight, I would say. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think I mean it's like a little bit off, but also I mean yeah,
I think
it's
what you explained about getting to the future node and being aware of how good of a bluff that is, that's something that the viewers can appreciate, because I don't
yeah,
think too many of us are thinking about stuff like that when we're making our decisions on the turn. Thinking a street ahead, like chess styles, it's probably what separates you guys from the mid-stakes dudes out there that are, trying to get to where you guys are at.
yeah. I mean it's quite a lot of people play every street like it's a river, I would say. They just don't, and then they're kind of surprised that there's more cards to come. I mean, obviously, not in a literal sense, but in terms of how their strategy plays, yeah, they don't really have the forward thinking view, and a lot of those people would have just like folded or called on the turn and wouldn't have lost themselves a 60K pot here. So who really knows what's up?
Let's go for this hand. This was a topic we briefly discussed before we started
Alright.
recording.
Okay. Huge.
Bottom pair, friendly little bet. And now things start to heat up. Maybe tell us a little bit about what raising looks like on the turn and how two pairs play into that.
Oh, you don't get to raise here much.
Like, say you had a Jack 5 or even a Jack 9 check call flop.
Yeah, no, you can rate like the raising frequency here is gonna be so low, like
Is that
2%.
because we're so concerned for the weaker hands in our range that are forced to call this bet that we need to protect them with stronger hands, or how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like we've just check called a small C bet, so we already don't have that many strong hands. Um, And he's blasting super polar into us on a brick where we basically never improved. It's just not really a spot where you're going to be doing too much playing back.
Okay, but he's
You're
still
supposed
like
to
his blasting is still a lot of like one pair, right? Like Jack or any other pair.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't, like these hands are ahead, but it's just the expectation is he's going to put in so much money on average that, um, like if we start playing back a bunch of two pairs here suddenly on the turn, and it's like, oh, on river he just looks at Jack 10 and goes all in.
All in.
You know, like, because
It's sick.
it's not really, I don't really even have that many strong one pairs here. Like King Jack's often going to check raise the flop, like, so I can, you know, so there is a bit of a there's a bit of a responsibility to play
So
defensively
you
here.
defend your range and then pretty fucking dog shit card box.
Yeah, I mean this ain't defending shit anymore.
And he sticks everything in.
Yeah.
So can you fold two pair? Like, are you in this
This one's
spot
foldable.
considering the laydown, or are you like, I just have to call?
No, this one is foldable, I think. Yeah, this one's foldable. I think if you have like the flop two pairs, you're just supposed to call, but the turned one is foldable because he won't have like pocket freezes often.
What's the thinnest you would expect him to come in for value here? Could he have Jack 9 or Jack 5? Or is that getting a
Well, I
little
mean, I
bit out
was
there?
saying like I'm quite often gonna check raise King Jack. Well, I mean, it's by no means pure, but it's like a 50-50 free bet in the first place, and then it kind of like quite often gets check raised on the flop. So then, how much King Jack do I
Can you
really
call
have?
King 9 on the turn to the overbet?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
But King 5 would get snap marked, I imagine.
With the overcard, it's my. I mean, it probably does get marked, but it's like heads up's a wide game, man. The problem with King 5 is also that you make two pair when Queen 10 gets there, which both players can have. Oh yeah, I can have Queen 10 here as well, actually. Like that'll check call twice quite often.
Because it beats a bunch of the lower straight draw bluffs as well, I imagine.
Yeah, and it just has so much equity. Like it has like an overcard to the jack, so many implied odds, right? But like I just bring that up as a reason for folding King 5 because I think Ace 5 calling the turn is pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
So King 5 maybe a little bit too much, but Ace 5 being there. What's the worst he could? I think Jack 9's pushing it. You're 100% slam dunk jamming King Jack though.
Jack 9, you blocking a jack, which is going to often have to call, I
Yeah.
guess, as well. Kind of sucks. But does that
Yeah,
make
I think
9-5 a better
Jack 9's too
hand?
much.
You
Jack
know?
9's too much. Nah, I mean like 9-5, you're just getting way too thin then at that point. Like I can have some like Jack 5 pretty easily. Like Jack 5, like Jack 3 as well.
Jack 3, you would only have suited though, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like it's another two. When you start jamming and the range which is calling you gets very thin, adding another two combos you lose to is, it gets kind of rough.
Okay.
It just becomes easy for the hand to be much more optimal as a size down.
What happened in game? Did you tank quite a while here?
Yeah, no, I was definitely thinking about this one because it's like, I mean, the main thing going for my hand is that I'm unblocking the bluffs. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, I mean, I'm blocking pocket
Or
fives
are
for
you a
value.
little? Does the 5 feel a little bit bad because he might triple off like some bottom pair, or is
Nah,
that
there's
not
no,
happening in this spot?
no way. That's not happening.
Okay. So the
Even if
5
you did that
blocks
on the
pocket
turn,
fives.
like it just has a 5 would have showdown on the river for him. But I mean, no, I don't think that's when the c bets are more polar, that can happen.
Okay.
But in these small c bet lines, a 5 just is showing down way too much here on the turn. Maybe if like the turn was a king, then you could if it was Jack 9-5 king, then maybe, but yeah. Yeah, I just think my hand's indifferent here.
Okay. And
Maybe not indifferent. Maybe it's like a 1 or 2 BB catcher because it just unblocks all the bluffs. But like it's
how
it's
standard
one.
of a turn barrel is his hand here? Like the future blocker play with the under.
I mean, having a deuce in your hand is always a good sign. You should punt in heads up. In poker in general, really. If you have a
Because
deuce
they're
in your
more
hand.
likely to hold like a medium value piece or whatever when you hold this.
Yeah, I mean, like I can, what do you really want me to have here on the turn? Like
A 9 or
eight
a
six
5 or
off,
whatever.
like 8-6 off, 6-5 off, whatever. Like all of my folding range on a turn has these like it's either these like weak straight draws or it's going to be like a weak pair with a bad kicker. Those are get so he's just unblocking all of that. He has an overcard to the 9. Um, the deuce is like an undercard to the 5, which is if you think about I'm folding a bunch of 5x. If you have 10-6, you benefit a little bit less from folding out a 5 because you have 6 outs, whereas 10 deuce, every time it gets a 5 to fold, it only had 3 outs. So that's actually like quite big. Well, yeah, it just adds to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, pretty
So
legit hand to go for, and
standard
then
looking play from him, in your opinion.
yeah, I think this one's like, I mean, it's gonna look a bit bananas to people who don't, I don't know, not playing at this level, but I wasn't that surprised to, yeah, I mean, in fact, when I saw it, I was just like, oh, that's just like, cleanly played hand from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this one up. I'm hoping it's a hand that I think it is. I think this is the hand. So ace 9 off, you call a 3-bet. And you're gonna see a check on the ace king 6.
Oh, yeah.
And you come in for a small bet. And on the turn, you're gonna continue the aggression. So I think everybody's on board with these decisions so far. Maybe the flop could be a frequency check. But on river, you were going to look the man in the eyes and ram it in for the full amount. So most of us sitting here at home are thinking, fuck, isn't this a bit thin? Well, how is this in
I mean,
your opinion?
I mean, you can be beat here, but it is top pair in a free bet pot. Like, that's a big hand in heads up. I mean, yeah, it is a bit thin, especially because like king queen off gets there on the river.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would say, ace jack you kind of pile very comfortably, and then if you don't have a kicker, like you should be checking, and then everything in the middle is a bit everything in the middle is going to come down a bit more to dynamics. But we're talking about how I just keep piling in stacks and getting called, and I need to make a fucking value hand. So like this will do. you know, this, this is, if I'm being very liberal with my interpretation of what a bluff is, we gotta swing the other way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the toughest players are always people that are bluffing a lot, but they're also value betting thinly in spots, and then you're sitting there across the table from them and questioning whether you should call or not, thinking, oh man, they're just going to have like all these pairs that beat me, and they know that, I'm going to have to call them with less. And, once you're in your opponent's head like that, I think you've already made
Oh
it to being
yeah, no,
quite a tough opponent.
definitely. If you're like, if there's, um, if there's like, if one player's in aggro station, and the other player is just trying to sit there, play tight, and just make big hands and like stack them when you make big hands, that player has such a tightrope to walk. Um, it's like it's weirdly enough easier to be the aggro station side of it and just be putting in lots of money consistently. And then the other guy has to be very surgically precise with exactly when they put money in. Um, so I think by default, when you see those two people match up, everyone thinks the guy who's being careful and pot controlling is just obviously gonna like they're gonna get the best of the maniac. But there's actually there's a lot of problems that you can run into just trying to play that side of things. Just like my experience of especially when I was first playing Heads Up, I was playing some of the like psychopath Russians, and like I don't know if you remember, but like Lucky CPS,
Oh yeah,
I was playing him.
on stars
So,
then.
yeah, yeah. I can't remember his name on other sites, but yeah, and he's just a fucking blaster, man. So much money goes in, and I just yeah, just like having to learn to deal with that and like get around. You know, get around. So I was used to being the person who was putting more money in, and then I was like, wait, what the fuck? This guy's like if he sees me trying to put in money thin with top pairs, he suddenly starts like he's just gonna find an even thinner top pair, like, and then it's like a yeah, like a race to the bottom, I guess. But yeah, like when you're the less aggressive one in the dynamic, you have to be like really. You have to be more technical than the other person. Like you can actually cover up a lot of technical deficiencies by just being
How would you
more
describe your
aggressive.
match with Linus so far in those terms? Is there a dynamic where one of you is notably more aggressive than the other?
Um, I wouldn't really say so. I mean, it's hard to say because I haven't seen his whole card. I think I've been caught bluffing a lot more, but like, but I think it's also just like I started out the match with not really making a hand and just being like, here I go bluffing again, and him just calling, calling, calling. Um, but like, I don't think it's we looked at the 6-4 hand. I don't think it's that he's not going for them. Uh, also, like I say this, like I've run a bunch of big bluffs, but he is like he's winning quite a lot on red line so far. Um, which yeah, I mean it's not usually the case for me in heads up. In heads up, usually I like kill everyone on red line, and it's been like a weird experience for me to have to be like, okay, we need to play around the guy who's gonna like he's gonna be like very uncompromising, and like I have to I have to be able to win despite that. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I guess I'd say he's probably overall been a more aggro, but it's like, it depends from spot to spot, and I don't really want to go through the
Sure,
specifics.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thanks anyway, man. It's a nice little summary for the fans.
yeah.
Back to this hand, he will pay you off with a lowly king.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the ways that you win on red line. Just never fold to the fucker. Like, I can bluff all I want, but it's not going to go on my red line if he just never folds. Which is,
Speaking of one
fair
that
enough.
goes
It's
on the
been
red
working
line,
for him.
maybe we
Sorry?
just this is one that goes on the red line for you. So speaking of,
Oh, huge.
these are the hands that always feel the absolute best. This is such a satisfying feeling. We're just going to play through it. You face the barrel. Obviously, you have an option here. You could flat call, or you could say, you know what, this guy bluffs enough for this line. He's finding two barrels that are folding. I am going to jam in with my combo draw, even though I may be fully dead to top pair with a flushie. And you see the magical fold. This
Yeah, that
great
this
feeling.
is this is one of the things I mentioned about how like it's you get tested on your implementation of things versus liners that you don't normally
You're
because
talking about
there's a
his barrel sizing here, or?
well, I mean, like one, it's the barrel size, and then also it's like a lot of people you'll play against just will like they either have you know top range and they just snap you in, or they have like they have very premium bluffs, and then it's it can be kind of fucking scary to play back in these sort of spots, right? Because it's like and you have to be like really you have to be really really fucking careful that you're not just like giving away the last 11k, and I shouldn't have like I maybe I should have just called and realized my equity or whatever. But yeah, and I realized like the more we were playing, it's like no, he definitely he definitely knows how to spew these spots. And if I just play passively and let him just like pile in. Yeah, because this is one thing I noticed. Like at the start of the match, especially, it was killing me on red line. It's kind of stabilized a bit more. I think part of the reason it stabilized was me realizing that in spots like this, it's like, oh, okay, no, this isn't. This guy isn't just. He isn't just sitting there with either like ace king or like I mean it or like I don't fucking know, or a bunch of combo draws which I block. Like because like say his bluffs here are just going to be flush draws, then it's so fucking dumb for me to shove Queen 4 of diamonds because I'm like not denying anything because those hands are mostly going to give up on river. I beat them anyway. I have a bunch of implied odds against them. Why am I shoving? Like, why am I shoving this? But if he has something like, if he has like 10-8 of
9-7
clubs,
and shit.
you know, if he has 10-8 of clubs and he's just going to pile the river and like, obviously that hand's ahead, but you know, like equity realization, like if he just like is tripling those sort of hands, and I can shove turn like I know it's a bluff, but getting him to fold those bluffs, which would have got me off the hand on the river, then you know it changes things. That's like that's a different part of the dynamic.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's the kind of thing
interesting.
which I would say I've been like, yeah,
Adjusting.
really enjoying and like learning from the match.
Walk me through this one. This one I find super interesting. Some people might not find this super interesting, but I do.
Oh
So,
yeah, this one. I think I talked about this one.
oh, really?
It's on stream though. It's on stream, but I guess
Oh,
I
okay.
record it.
So standard stuff. Flushy comes in on the turn. You know, pretty interesting. What sizing people choose in these spots, I find that kind of complicated. You probably know what you're doing there. But here is where the hand really gets interesting. We have a
Yeah,
$6,500 pot, and we have a range from you, from my perspective, that contains obviously bluffs, flushes, and trips, which now becomes quads. You can't have pocket tens.
yeah,
Very interesting dynamic. Where do you want to go from here? Because what you settle on, I think, will surprise a few people.
yeah. I was basically thinking, well, I need to pick like
And also, if you
what's
check,
probably.
like considering your range, if you check, what does he value bet?
I mean, he can value bet against my flushes.
Okay, so you think
Um,
if you have a flush, you're in a tough spot where you're going to have to check and make some decisions on a call.
yeah, I mean, if you have a flush here, I mean, he could essentially like reopening any 10. It's not like you don't have to, because in these spots, like it can get small deviations in how I play my checking range can be really big. Like if I trap my checking range too much, then suddenly reopening a 10 is just suicide, right? Um, but then if I'm never check calling a flush, then it's also kind of suicide. So,
It's
but
a
like
very
you know,
strange spot. It's such a
yeah,
board-changing card, this river. Really changes
yeah,
everything.
no, it definitely yeah, it's a very weird one. Um,
What were you thinking at the time? Were you just basically thinking, what size should I use? Like, what was the
I'm
thought?
about to get paid, baby.
Yeah.
um,
Well, let's skip to the size you actually used. I got
yeah.
a question for you. Why not shove compared to this size? Like,
Well,
you just
yeah,
didn't
no,
want him to fold the the hand, you know?
no, it
What was the
so
thinking?
so basically like there's a point where you start sizing up enough that okay, it's not that he will just call quads, he'll still have to call some other stuff, but his calling range will become mostly quads. You know? And so then so but because like obviously when I you know when I have quads I need to get paid I need to get paid by saying and when I don't have quads obviously you know I'm unblocking it and he can have it because he can have plenty of his own combos of quads here and I was thinking that shoving was just slightly overkill where it's like if I do
Too much
that
of a free roll for his quads.
yeah it's just like it just becomes that I don't get paid often enough relative to the amount of times that I just give him a stack when I'm bluffing. So this kind of felt like the sweet spot. I did look this one up afterwards because I went like 2.5x pot, and I'm supposed to go more like 1.5 to 2x pot. Um, so like a bit of overkill. But I mean, I don't know. This is like a very out there spot. I'm not like
This is a tough one to be prepared for.
yeah. It's like it's quite hard to be precise here. And I think yeah, I mean I got paid more, so so yeah, I made an extra like six K or something by picking this size. So I'll take it.
Yeah, so I think this is a super interesting spot. Also for him, like, what are the calls he wants to find? Like, it's not that easy to
Yeah,
block
like
your
everything just
quads, you
fucking
know?
sucks.
Like, stuff is so similar value to him. Do you think he has to just start rolling with whatever he has?
Yeah, I think it's so fucking hard to find a good blocker here.
Well, if he has kings and aces, they block all of the offsuit because you defend king 7
Yeah,
off, I'm assuming, to a
but like
2.5.
I defend queen 7 off, I defend jack
Okay.
7, 9
So
7,
queens
8
is
7,
also
7
blocking.
6. But like I defend 7 6 off, I defend 7 5 off. Like, you know, I mean, he wants to unblock the, like, I don't know, 9 8 or 8 6 or whatever. That, yeah. So I think just having some unblockers there is probably also just slightly bad for him to have a diamond. Um,
But you should never bluff river with a diamond, right? That's like
I
an
mean,
absolutely atrocious bluff for you.
well, yeah, it's really hard for me to bluff river with a queen at all, right? Like, how am I gonna bluff river with a queen in my hand? It's gonna be like exactly queen jack with the jack of diamonds or something, and even then, it's like that hand's like,
That
it's
kind of
it's mixed
sucks
on the
ass to
flop.
bluff river, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty. Yeah, I think you just want to unblock as many of the bluffs as possible, and his hand is doing that very well. Like, even a hand like Jacks is clearly like blocking more bluffs than this. So I think queens, kings, and aces, no diamonds seem pretty good. Um, yeah, I don't really like. Yeah, it's just impossible to bluff fucking value. It's impossible to block value here. Like, I mean, good luck. I just check raise a bit of various different 7x hands.
Yeah.
Um,
Super,
yeah,
super tough spot. I guess he's just rolling some shit.
yeah, maybe soul reading, one or the other.
Yeah. Let's have a peek at this.
I mean, he definitely does soul read me sometimes. Like the eighth hand, I doubt that was
Oh
already.
my god. Well, we're gonna. Okay, speaking of soul
Oh,
reads, then
all right.
you've dug your own grave here, mate. We're gonna have to go on a little journey.
What? Wait, we already did the eighth hand, man. Wait, what's it? Oh, this one. No, we were about to do such a nice hand.
Bro, you brought it up, mate.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Well, firstly, can we just start here pre? I had my own theories I was discussing when I did one little stream of your match, actually. What's with his 3-bet sizing down when deeper? Can you explain some of the pros and cons of these styles? Because I noticed that you were preferring to size up as you get a bit deeper, and he's preferring to size
Yeah.
down. So
Well, I mean, like, so heads up, it's funny because in six mix you actually size up, and then in heads up you can size down as you get deeper. I mean, it's basically like you're playing out of position against, you're playing out of position deep, and inflating the pot. In position equity realization is gonna be greater, and like, um so a lot of what happens in heads up is when you free bet, you kind of just get them to fold the trash. You don't actually get them to fold any hands which are going to be able to realize their equity well. So it's kind of fine to just size down and push your equity a bit more. I don't really think it's a big deal. I think you can just go with whatever size you want.
okay, I
Uh,
was thinking that the advantage of a small 3-bet is you have to continue some shittier hands that you would otherwise fold. I'm not sure
yeah,
exactly what
yeah,
those
yeah.
hands
I
are.
mean,
Maybe
it's
it's
like,
like 7-6 off or 8-9 off or some stuff like that.
yeah, the offsuit connectors are like mixed
But
against
if
the
you're not
size.
prepared for that, like if this isn't in your default study, you're going to go post with kind of wrong ideas about how to proceed because your range is a bit wider, and that causes you to have to calculate a little bit more than normal, which does make your life tougher. So I wasn't sure if that was his reason or not, but that was
Yeah, I mean
something that
that could
came
be
to me.
true. You have a hand which you usually think is bottom of range and it's not. Like, I mean, that could be. It'd be hard. I mean, this size is just theory approved though, so so he might just be making it for like for very scientific reasons rather than like wild theories. But yeah, could be.
Yeah. Anyway, back to you getting dream crushed in this hand.
Oh my god, spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
But I think your initial reaction was already enough of a spoiler for
yeah,
anyone paying
yeah.
attention. So he's going to c-bet and find a turn check.
Yep.
He's not going to fold, which I imagine is absolutely standard.
Actually, technically a mix, because believe it or not, I looked this one up.
Okay, I do believe you. I mean, how was your line based on what you researched?
I mean, it's like it's fine, but it's not like, I mean, it is a sideline. Um, like, yeah, the main size here is just all in. But I mean, in game, I was like, well, I want a size for a queen, and I also want a size for, you know, two pairs and straights and whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll just RNG both sizes and the check. I actually think I almost nailed it with my hand.
What's the difference between holding a queen and holding two pair?
You just lose to the traps when you have a queen.
Okay, so an AA check call is
Or like ace queen.
or ace queen.
Yeah. So there's like I think the size is like a little off. It wants me to go B75 with a queen instead. I mean, not a big deal. It's not like.
But what about just value betting like a 7 or whatever on the river? That's just not an option for us?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
It's just too thin.
Yeah, I guess I don't know much about like what his turn barrel frequency is supposed to be, but when he takes a check call, it does feel like a 7 beats him fucking all day.
Yeah, I mean, well,
And then
I
the
think
queen is like, okay, ace queen gets it, but that's it. It's
he can have
kind
like
of
10
bricky.
queen of hearts, like the aces trap. I mean, he can have some of his own 7x as well. Like he doesn't have to, we're quite deep. You don't just pile in like 9-7 here as out of position,
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, you're not looking to value bet like a weaker pair here. So that's a key that I didn't realize. But yeah, you're going to bet pot and he's going to say, "Yep, I've got ace jack, mate."
Call me with this. And yeah, I mean, I have a hand which would have folded pre if he went to his regular size. Or like, I think this is like versus like bigger sizes. This hand's 4-bet or fold, and then versus 9BB, it's like call or 4-bet. And yep, well, and here we are.
It's a rough one. Did he tank much here? What was the timing like? If
I could have folded flop as well. This is a mix on flop as well.
What was his sizing there?
B40. Yeah, it's
okay, so it's a little bit of a juicer coming in.
Well, yeah, like the thing is, in game, I was thinking king 9 is a little bit better than like king 10.
Backdoor straight and shit.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe the club is good, but then because I was thinking the club unblocks backdoor flush draws, but this board is close to a range bet, so that doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, I should have. I mean, it is still a mix on the flop. It's yeah. Basically, I had the hand too much on the flop, but then the turn is like very high frequency, and then the river, I think, the river I got like really close. But I mean, it means I'm slightly over bluffing the combo, but I don't know. I think it's fine. Like there's probably other combos which I'm not torching enough. Wow, I don't know actually. signs point to maybe that was bullshit.
It was an interesting one though. I think I might have even seen that. I think that I was streaming that session when that hand happened.
Yeah.
Good times. Anyway, here you go, man. Now you're gonna have a little flush draw.
Huge trip down memory lane.
You come in for the check, Rizzy.
Yeah.
Get called. Godly turn. I love, by the way, this is one of the absolute best feelings in poker when you riz up a flush draw and then the one card comes where you have the straight nizzles. Such a nice feeling. Such a fucking good feeling.
Yeah, definitely with you.
Gorgeous stuff. So you make your hand. You're going to go for the quarter pot option.
Yeah. I think so I was trying to pick a size which made sense for like Jack 8, Jack 6.
But you would also throw another size out here as well, I imagine, knowing how you.
No, play? I think this is a bit small. I looked this one up. If you only use quarter pot, you should sometimes use bigger sizes. What you're supposed to do is like use B40 only, and then you can still value bet the Jack 8 and then block it on the river. But like this size is a bit too small in theory to be your only size, but it's a very small mistake. See, like I just want just to see that sometimes I accidentally undersize my nuts. I don't always just like add 6K into the mix when I have top range.
Well, I think this sizing worked out pretty nicely. Anyway, the board is going to pair on river.
Oh god, this is such a
Pair on river.
insanely disgusting river. Have you
And
ever
then
seen a
you
more
find
disgusting...
the check. So
Yeah,
walk me through that. It's a fourth heart. Here's the board.
I mean the check is. I mean,
What are you
like
hoping to
this.
accomplish here with this check?
This is very close to a range check.
Oh, okay.
Like um,
Just due to your amount of two pair and whatnot
yeah. I
on
mean,
the flop.
yeah. So I've simmed this, and someone else has simmed this, and my sim got a range check, and their sim got like I get to block sometimes, but
Okay.
whatever.
Well,
Either
either way,
way,
quite a defensive
it's a bad
strategy.
fucking card, man. It's like because if you think about so it comes back to the polar c-bet as well, because when he c-bets polar, um, if I have Jack 6 or 8-6, I often just flat on the flop into the polar c-bet. But Jack 8 is still check raising a lot, and so is pocket sixes. But now those hands aren't shit, you know. Well, pocket sixes is obviously the stone cold nuts, but we've got one combo of it. If that, it'll free bet sometimes pre. So I don't know, I don't know, 0.6 combos of pocket sixes or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly how deep we were. But yeah, basically, my range just gets fucking destroyed here. And then also, the flushes I have are like often lower ones than this, because a lot of the ways that I backdoor a flush will be like 10-9 with like the 9 of hearts or something. So they're not that good, you know? It's quite an exception for me to have like the nut flush in this spot. So you just end up having to check a shit ton as out of position here. And then, like, I just check and I just pray he goes the size where he reps like the Queen of Hearts, and then I can just snap call.
I don't think he ends up repping the Queen of Hearts here with the
No,
jam.
not quite. Yeah,
So in game, are you disgusted looking at this spot? Are you sitting there
yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
"Can I fold this?" Like, what's going through your head?
Yeah, no, I mean it's fault. Okay, so technically in the sim I looked at, he had like a 5% random shove with his own King of Hearts combos, which was to own me if I tried to call a hand like
Queen
if I
Jack.
tried to fold a hand like this and call like Jack 8 or something,
Uh,
which is like which in that case actually means that I'm just supposed to always call the King of Hearts. I think that is like complete fucking black magic. Um, you know, like, but yeah. So technically, I think this is it's a very marginally plus EV call. It's like two big blinds in like this huge fucking pot. I mean, obviously, I didn't realize that shit in game because that is absurd. So then yeah, I was just I mean, like the blocks on this are pretty fucking decent to be honest. You're unblocking all the bluffs, and it's quite hard for me to have blockers to value other than Jack 8. I mean, yeah, Jack 8 does have some nicer things going for it. It's also kind of interesting because I go for the 25% pot size instead of the 40 on the turn. He gets to continue a few more straight draws, so he has a few more bluffs than normal. Also, you know, he clearly like if he wants to bluff a hand like his own Jack 8, that would be pretty legit here, right? You could you could bluff off his two pair. That those just being blockers to my Jack 6 or 8-6 combos, like I have, but just not that often. But
so
yeah,
a psi call was made.
yeah.
And
You got
how
the
do you
size.
feel about his decision to continue on the turn versus quarter? Because I'm really unsure as just a spectator of the game.
Yeah, versus quarter, this was pure continuing, I think, or like high frequency, and then versus B40, it was a fold.
Yeah.
So I kind of got lucky. I
Yeah.
fucked up the sizes, and it made me a bunch of money.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you think of his river bluff though? Like, should he be coming with something different than this? Is this negative or is it pretty neutral
No,
to hold
I, I
these cards?
I think this is pretty legit.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to be hard to have nicer cards than this, you know? Because the thing is, if you want to bluff off a hand like Jack 8 or Ace 8, those hands do check down and win some amount. Like, you know, Jack 8 will check back and chop against my Jack 8, and it will also just because I'm basically range checking as out of position, if I have my own 10-9 or like 9-7, if I have it without a heart, I just check and lose whenever he has a pair. So even though you've often been outdrawn with those hands, that they can check down and win. Like this hand almost never checks down and wins, right? It has to be up against specifically like 9-7 or 7-5, which are like, you know, they're like mixed flop, mixed turn. Although well, turn they do barrel quite a lot, but still. But yeah, like the lack of showdown on this hand obviously means it's, you know, it's going to be fine to bluff. The size is like, you know, the size is very legit. He has tons of fucking boats here. I really don't, so I just have to make a bunch of crying calls. I mean, it's just, you know, there's a lot of times where, you know, if you're in his shoes and he, like, say I'm in his shoes and I jam into someone, there's quite a decent chance they won't realize how fucked their range is, you know? You can delude yourself into thinking you have boats here if you're thinking like, oh, I'd have Jack 6 and 8-6, but like they're actually not in there very often at all. So then, you know, knowing that, I'm just like, okay, well, I have to call some combos which aren't that fun. And this one seems like one of the better ones. Also, on the turn I had the nuts, so way too tilted to fold. That's an important part as well.
That's a key for sure.
yeah. Fuck this. This card like devalued my hand. Oh, I flick it in anyway. I'm not folding.
All right, mate. I've taken up a lot of your time already, but why don't you wrap us up with one or two more hands? You have a selection. They're based. Whole cards are listed. I can click in and give a little sample as well. We've got this 8-6 hand, if you remember that one where you bet.
Like there's been way too many hands. Like I'll know them once I see the board. I'll know them, but like there's no way I'll know them just from whole cards.
Another computer hand is probably good. Is this just the same hand?
Wait, yeah. Is this not?
Oh no, the computer's getting aggressive today.
Okay.
Oh, actually, this is gold.
Oh, this
gold.
one's kind of fun.
What is this? You got to tell me what this is.
This is so funny. I mean, oh god.
Okay, so looking good. You see it, you barrel, makes a lot of sense. You bink the river, absolute luck box, SPR 60% pot. You find the fucking check. What's going on? You're just trying to defend your range here. You're expecting him to get very aggressive here. What's going through your head? Or does your range just hate this card so much you feel compelled to check?
How much I want to talk about this one, but I can't. Like this one's under lock and key.
Lock and key. We're gonna display the result though for the fans at home because I think this result is quite pleasurable.
You just have to see his whole cards to know how sexy this check was. To see what he bluffed. Like,
well, isn't he just value shoving, right?
No, this isn't bluff.
So he's not value shoving. Is that because your turn sizing is so significant that you're not having any, you know, tens through kings or whatever,
like ace king or whatever? Like, yeah, I mean it's like
there's no world where this is value from him.
No, there's no way.
You have like king 8 and you go bet check.
What the fuck am I check calling king 8 against?
I don't know, mate. You guys play a bunch of retarded hands that I don't understand.
Okay.
So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. I was pretty fucking happy with this one. Not gonna lie. I think it's not often that you have a hand where you have like, you know, you just instantly get like the seal of approval from the showdown. That's just like, yes, right fucking decision, good check, you know, like because if he bluffs something which is like more ambiguous, then I'll be like, yeah, you know, maybe. But like this one, I was just like, yes, this was the fucking line. But yeah, I don't know, I can't give more than that, man.
Oh, man, all good. All good.
I was gonna stay under.
We've got the old bottom pair, 3 streets. I don't want to make you lose another pot though, mate. I think we stay on a good buzz.
Yeah, that's fine. It's easier for me to talk about the ones where I lost actually. Like,
do you know what this hand? Oh wait, hold on. I don't know what this hand is.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this now. Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're deep as fuck here.
Yeah.
Ooh, you come in for a 10% ball. Face a small raise. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
6 on the turn. Gotta hate it. Have to hate the 6. Doesn't really matter in this spot, but just boring card. No one wants to chop. Nobody wants to chop.
The 6 is just fucking tilting because it's like your dream with ace jack is that he has ace 10. Or like now ace nine.
And you're
fucking
going to
gets
check
there.
back turn and river. So respecting some of the hands in his range here. And
Yeah,
obviously
I was
not
just fucking.
expecting a chop to fold. So
Yeah, I mean, I did think I was like I was trying to go through all of this stuff. I was just like, what the fuck am I getting paid by? Is there a way I can get him to fold an ace? Like, just trying to work out all this stuff. I was pretty confused in this hand. I think also, I think yeah, this kind of links back to what I was saying about how it's a bit different playing against Linus because um I remember thinking to myself, it's just like, like don't people just have like the gut shots here? And the gut shots are never check calling me, and an ace isn't folding, so what's the fucking point? And then I check back, and he has like queen 10, right? Um, and that's just like, it's in there. It's definitely like, yeah, this is a theory play, but it was like one of those moments where I was just like, oh yeah, like I'm playing Linus. He's like fucking good, you know. Like obviously he has more than just the like very like level one easy hands. I mean, even like a six is more natural to find than the queen, right? Like it's quite easy to torch off a bottom pair, but like torching off a second pair is a little bit less intuitive. But yeah, then I was sat there, I was like, oh yeah, there were some hands to get value against. I'm just not used to people having them. Um, but
that's cool.
yeah,
That's cool, man.
yeah,
Glad we stopped by this hand. I didn't even know it was in the roster.
yeah.
I also have no idea what this is. Oh, no.
Oh God, no! This one hurts so
That
bad.
it looks painful. Yeah, it
This
looks
one
painful.
fucking stings, man. This one fucking
Check
stings.
call. Bet proudly, full pot. Fuck you, mate. Raise
Oh,
4x. I pay
yeah.
you off. I don't believe you. And
Yeah.
then absolute dirt dog shit river on top of everything. And the tilting as fuck block bet to induce with Queen of Spades
I mean, I don't
Jack.
think this is blocked to induce. I think this is just the hand strength.
Right, but he's snapping a jam though. Is my point, right?
Oh,
This isn't getting
I don't
folded
know,
here.
man.
Oh,
His
really?
hand clearly isn't ahead if I jam.
Yeah, but if you think about his blocking range, right? This is kind of up
I
there.
mean, well, his blocking range is basically. Yeah, I mean, first off, this hand, like, the reason this hand hurts me is it shouldn't be in the turn check raising range. But, like, he put it in there, and he was just like, this guy has, like, he doesn't have a fucking flush. There are tons of flushes. He doesn't have one. He has a worse hand. Not only does he have a worse hand, he's going to pay me because he's an idiot station. And I was an idiot station, and I paid him. Um, but, like, this is the size for Jack 7 because he's supposed to have Jack 7 with the Jack of Spades.
Oh, your hand actually doesn't get shown in this replay.
Oh,
Okay,
huge.
that's
I
interesting.
mean, I had two pair. I had ace 10.
Yeah, I'd seen your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough though. You know, it is tough. Like for the block sizing against the guy who should have. But like, what is a bluff that he has here?
I mean,
Queen
ace 7 with a
10,
spade, Jack
Jack
8 with a
10.
spade. Yeah, some random pair with a spade.
Yeah, so he
Pretty
could even overdo it if he was
ups
creative
here.
enough. If he starts using the Queen 9, Jack 9 and shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I also
But does he
I'm
find the block? Like if he's got a Queen of Spades or Jack of Spades, it feels tough to find the block, right?
yeah, that is one of those things. I don't know though. I mean, Linus is pretty fucking good at it. I think that's one thing which, like, you know, the two of us are actually doing quite well. Is like running these sidelines with actual consistency, you know, rather than like. I think it's quite hard to read him in this spot, and I like to think it's hard to read me as well for just being like, oh, is he blocking just because he has the exact hand which is worth a block, or like but like yeah, I just don't really think that's the case. I think he knows when this is a part of his game tree, um, and like yeah, I don't know how often he's like I don't know whether obviously these are quite like these are like sidelines, so it's hard to say. I don't really have a sample of whether he's doing something other than trying to just play it well and balanced. Like maybe he is, but I don't think it's just like I don't think it's very level one. Oh, I have a hand worth of block, so I block. Basically.
Sure.
I've definitely seen him show up with some like slightly more like I don't know some bluffs or whatever, or some non-standard stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one. So we've done that. I think we might have done this, or no, maybe did we delete this one? Let me have a think. Yeah, we said we wouldn't bother with this hand. Remember you said that. This I think we did. So we're actually almost done with this incredibly long list of hands. This is a nice one. This is... We just did this, right? Or did we just do this? Now I'm tripping out. Or we just did that. Ah, okay. So what the fuck was this one? One sec, sorry. Okay. Oh, the slow play. Oh, bro, this hand's fucking great, mate.
Wait, what happened here?
This hand's fucking great, mate. Linus has the nut flush. He bets. You call. Brick on the river. Linus, block bet. Prodigy. I raise you. Linus, oh my god. Jizzes in his pants. Re-raise. Snap call, according to the replay. Obviously not a snapping game. Walk us through a bit of what you were thinking. I think the whole cards got exposed in this hand. I'm not sure if the replay will show them though. It does.
Good. No one has to... Oh no, they have to see... God, my hand is so fucking...
I just think this is a super interesting play. I mean, so on the river, we have a second block bet. And you're going to read into this and say, this is a lot of hands that aren't a flush or better. This is some two-pair shit. This is some...
My call is so fucking bad because I think I was... I genuinely think I was just tilted. But like, I think one of the reasons my call is bad is...
What's the difference between you having like the jack of clubs and the seven of
hoping
clubs? It's kind of an irrelevant difference, right?
Well, no, but I'm really hoping he's like block free betting like king six.
Right. That was my exact question. It was going to be,
king
how does the
six,
king play
five.
into your decision making, and is it
It
negative?
has to be so fucking bad to have a king here. And I mean, I talk shit about blockers, but like this has to be pretty nut low of all the like. God, I think. No, I just hate. God, I hate this. I want to disown this hand. This hand was a while ago, for what it's worth.
But say you had pocket sevens here with the seven of clubs, you wouldn't hate this play then.
It would be way more reasonable. But also, it's like.
But I mean, I respect the initial river raise. Like, what happens after it? Okay, maybe that's not great. But the initial river raise, I think some people are just so satisfied with flat calling these bets and just get taken advantage of by somebody who's setting their own price and putting pressure on with bluffs. You have to kind of fight back a bit, you know?
Yeah, no,
So I like to see this raise.
I got too into that mindset of so I think this was quite early in the match, and I think I got kind of into the mindset of like, oh, when people do these lines, they very often have what they have, or like, and then I was just like, I thought, I just got into like this dumb thought process where I was like, oh, he just like he has what he's repping, and then he's just going to free bet me to try and bully me, and it's like no, obviously fucking not. I mean, I also say this like when we first started playing the match, this wasn't particularly smart of me, but I'd basically been on a break from poker for a while, like not fully, but the volume I was playing was like super low. I just played like a couple tourneys, a couple private games. I occasionally like scrapping them out with people. But yeah, I hadn't really been playing very much, which is, deep in the tier of excuses.
Man, it's respectable to come back in battle and not give a fuck.
I came into it, and I just had these like very shitty like level 1 like thought processes, and then I felt like I got kicked around for it. And I was like, okay, well I need to fucking sharpen up a little bit because he's playing pretty well.
Let's end things on a positive note then.
Oh, huge.
So, nothing too crazy. 8s and 6s on the turn. How does this play against this sizing from you? Can he juice up a hand like this, or is it just like a full suicide mission with that many straights available?
Yeah, way too thin.
Way too
It's
thin.
like there's 48 straights here, man. This is like this one's a fucking scary one to start.
And then
with.
on river, does he have any weird options for like some kind of block lead?
Yeah, there is some leading here. You can lead a 7.
Okay.
But not this
Not
hand.
even necessarily a block sizing.
No, it is a block.
Okay.
Just they're just pretty. I mean, like trips is nice, but it's not that far ahead of what I have.
Yeah. But like a 7 could block 3-bet as a bluff, I guess.
Yeah.
This hand could even potentially do it as well.
Well,
But it's going to get check and a monster bet.
Yeah.
What do you think about his decision to raise here? How should he approach raising? Can he fold this hand at all? Or are these hands forced to continue in some way?
Well, this hand is like super nice to call because or raise, because mostly what this size is saying is okay. So if you go for a more standard size, you're saying like I'm trying to get you to call wider than trips, and then this size is saying I'm making trips indifferent, and part of the way that you make trips indifferent is the value range is made up of hands which unblock trips. So the boats I'm going to use for this size would be like pocket 8s and pocket 6s, more so than 8-7 or 7-6. Like also, pocket deuce is reasonable to use this size. Like straights are fine to use in this. Although, I mean, the 10-9 is fine, but like the 9-5 is getting a bit thin because he can have his own boats. He can have his own slow played 10-9. He can have like slow played 9-5, slow played 5-4, whatever. So if I start going, like I think 10-9 is sort of the cuspy hand for this size. But yeah, you basically just don't want a trips combo, or like you don't want a trips blocking combo in your range, which then means that when he has this is actually like, oh, this is just going to be a plus EV bluff catcher. Also going to be a decent shove. Because obviously when he shoves, he gets snapped if I have a boat, but then if I have
Do you?
10-9,
What if you got pocket deuces?
okay, well like deuces maybe, but like the pocket 8s, pocket 6s just call
Sure.
very fast, and then the main hand which you're targeting to try and get me to fold is going to be my 10-9 by shoving. So yeah, this is like a pretty ideal shoving candidate.
Imagine he goes 2 for 2 on you in those lines.
Yeah, just soul reads me for
So
the
sick.
straight on the pad.
So sick. But he
This one
is
a
human
bit
after
harder
all,
to do,
and
though. The other one, the boats are very rare. Whereas in this one, I have like a lot more boat combos. Like if I think he's gonna do shit like that, it's very easy for me to just get a bit more, casual about combo selection and just start throwing in 8-7, 7-6 into the 3x pot. Whereas the other one on like, was it 9-5-3-4-9? I don't really have that many boats because there's no 9-5 off in the big blind range. There's no 9-4 off, no 9-3 off. So I only really have the sets.
You don't check raise that shit on the turn either, right? 9-4.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit of a different dynamic. Whereas here, you're like, it's a lot like, it can get a lot rougher because like if I'm, like. Also, I can understand those blocker effects, but I could still like if I want to 3x pot 8-7 because I think he'll like he'll like blast off and try and get me to fold my hand. Like I can't like it's pretty that's pretty reasonable way to play. It's like it's not the ideal blockers for the hand, but it's not like going 3x pot with 8-7 is like a problem. It's just maybe a little bit inefficient because I'm trying to make a 7 indifferent. But yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not nice having value when you're a punter. You often get called. But yeah.
Man,
But
thank you
yeah,
very much for joining for this. This was a great one. I hope the viewers at home enjoy as well.